Hello and welcome to this place on the internet where I talk about things I made, mostly knitting. I do have a few other things today to show you as well. So just let's get started. Oh, for those who are new to the channel, my name is Irma and you can find me on YouTube, Ravelry and Instagram as Wolwerkjes. Just let's get started. I do not have any knitwear on me, so I think I'm wearing hand knit socks. I can take one off to show you. This is quite a fun pattern. There's quite some. I will show you the top part and not the bottom part. These I test knitted for Melanie. I think she has, her account name is Braid and Thinker, I think. I'm not sure, but I think that is her account name, and she designed these socks a while ago. I did make shorties out of them. I used yarn. It's on my Ravelry page. I think it was long yarns, and it was called like something with night, or yeah, something with evening or night or something like that. There is sparkle in there, and this is one of the yarns that's holding up best. So I have this pair of socks for a few years now, and I wear them a lot. I'm not very delicate with my socks. I wear them in shoes and they are still looking perfectly fine. The pattern is fun to do. It's a little bit fiddly, so I would not say it's a beginner pattern, but it is a fun pattern to do, and the fit is very nice. So I do wear some knitwear today. When we're on the topic of socks, one of my finished objects is socks. So let me put that on one of my sock blockers. Those are not the most fancy ones, but they work. And that's the point, right? The sock goes over it, so you don't see them when they're pretty. So it's okay. I knit these socks out of my own hand-dyed yarn. This colorway is called stained glass, and I don't think there is, let me see in my stash. No, I don't have any more of this yarn at the moment, so maybe I will dye some up in the near future. It's like self-striping, so there is a black row, every 5th row there's a black row, and yeah, in between there are all fun colors playing together, and I really enjoyed knitting these. Every stitch is another color, so that's just very fun and motivating, I think. I did a, let me see, 3x1 rib at the top. I did a slip stitch heel flap. I think I can show it better on the one not on the blocker. I did a square heel. Do you call it a Dutch heel? I'm not sure. You need to decrease somehow when you go top down from your heel flap. You need to decrease stitches somehow to make it curl around your heel, and then I picked up the stitches at the side of the heel flap again, decreased for the foot, and then going straight until the toe. And I did a wedged toe. Nothing fancy, just it works perfectly fine, so why would I make it complicated for myself? So yeah, I put those away. I knew I put them away to keep them clean and nice to show to you, but I forgot where. So I just ran around the house looking for these socks. And they were just in a project bag. I used when I was knitting on the socks. Only I started a little new project in that bag. So I thought I took out the socks, but I didn't. I'm glad I found them. For a moment there I thought I lost them somewhere. I don't know how, but for a moment there I was a little bit afraid, but I did find them and now I can start wearing them. So that's very nice. This is sock yarn without nylon, so there is ramie, which is a plant-based fiber with long, it's a long fibered fiber. The fibers are very long, so it gives more strength to the sock. And there is silk in there as well, which also has the long fibers to give the sock strength without using nylon. So that's also something nice to tell you. So I finished the socks. I did finish something else. I knitted a shawl for someone who needed a little bit of a warm hug. So I took a few days for that. I used my own pattern. It's a pattern that will be released by Wolwerkjes. It was a collaboration. They are still working on photos and stuff like that. I think it will be released in April, but I will let you know when the time is there. But it's a pattern that's very suitable to mix different yarns together, and I did not want to go to the yarn shop for this project, so I looked around in my own stash and stuff like that. I'm looking up there because there is most of my stash. Yeah, I used a cotton yarn and plötulopi, so two completely different types of yarn, and it worked out perfectly. I will put a picture in here for you to see. If I forget, there's also one on my Instagram page. Yeah, so I held both yarns double, so I held 2 strands of the cotton together, and for the other stripe I held 2 strands of the plötulopi together. And you have the shininess of the cotton in one stripe, and you have the fluffiness and the rustic feeling of the wool in the other stripe. And I was a little bit afraid if it would work, but it worked perfectly, and that was the whole purpose of this shawl, that you can mix different yarns together. So I'm very happy that it worked out this time as well. I did make 3 samples that are at Wolwerkjes at the moment. But it's still fun to see that it works for other yarns as well. So that's something I did. I can't show, and I don't know how you feel about it, but when you make something for someone else and you give it away, it's like you haven't made that item. Yeah, you did make that item. I did make that item, but sometimes it feels like all the projects I have been working on are like not going as fast as I planned or something like that, and then it feels like I did not knit a lot, but I really did, because I finished the whole shawl in a few days. So who am I kidding? I knit quite a lot. Let me see. So I have the finished socks, I have the finished shawl, and I have some works in progress. The the thing I'm working on, that was in the project bag I knit the socks in, is out of the same yarn, and it's a little tube. It's gonna be a sleeve for my phone, because I want to put it in my bag. I don't have that big of pockets in my clothes, so it needs to go in my bag, but I don't want it to get scratched on my keys or anything else I will throw in my bag. So it needs some protection, and I really like knitting with this yarn, so I just casted this tube on. I did a 2x2 ribbing and just straight stockinette, and I will do a Kitchener stitch once I have the right length. It's a perfect project just for when you're waiting somewhere, or yeah, just for those little moments you can knit a little bit, but don't have the time to take out a whole sweater project, for example. So it's perfect for that. I really like this bag. I made this a long time ago. It was one of my first things I tried designing myself in sewing. It's very easy. It's just a square boxed bottom and straight up with a zip in the top. But what makes it very, very useful is this handle. And the placement is just, as I said, it was one of the first projects I made, so it's a little bit of luck that it's working out this perfectly. But I somehow placed it on an angle that it's in an angle so my yarn doesn't fall out, but I'm still able to knit while I'm in a line somewhere, for example. I'm not doing that a lot, but sometimes you're in a place and you think, I could have knit some stitches now, and yeah, I will always be able to do that when it's in this bag. So I'm thinking of making a few more maybe, because they're very, very handy. I only need to figure out what I did exactly because it's been a while. So yeah, that's one of the things I am working on. The thing I haven't worked on is the lace shawl I showed last time. What was it called? Windy Fields? Yeah, out of 52 weeks of shawls by Lane Publishing, Lane Magazine. It's a lovely shawl. I will continue knitting on it, but you can only do so much, right? So that was one of the things that was on pause for now. I did knit on the other shawl I'm working on, which is my own design, and I use handspun for it, and it's growing a lot. So maybe it doesn't look very different, but there are just a few more inches on this, and I was in a little bit of a, yeah, I was at the point that I had to make a decision. I first wanted to, and maybe I will rip back and do it. I still do it that way, but I'm thinking something else now. I wanted to reverse the tip, so the spine of the shawl, if you will call it like that, is going as an inward V, and I wanted to build up here so it would be an outward V and then decreasing to the other point. The only thing with that is that I'm using the handspun, and that I do not know exactly how many, I do know how many meters there are on the skein, but it's very hard to determine because it's going a little bit thick and thin, if the first half will have exactly the same amount of meters as the second half. And once the pattern is written, I will have figured that out, but for now it's very hard to determine if I'm halfway in my skein, or if I'm already past halfway, or if I will have a lot of left over, which would be not fun because I want to use as much as I can out of this skein. So yeah, I thought it would be better to just continue and see how long I will be able to get it just striping. The very first idea I had was just this shape and put pom-poms on the three points, and I think it would be very fun to wear it like that. Another option I thought of was going only in the green yarn in the other direction and make something like a simple lace pattern, but I don't know if that will be working with the stripes. So I'm still thinking about how I will finish this one. That's always funny with designing stuff that you may have a vision of how something is going to look, and then it will change when you're working on it. At least that's how my brain works. So I will change it up, and maybe I will end with my very first idea, or maybe it will be something completely different. But this striping with a color changing yarn and a solid yarn is working very beautifully, I think. So that's a win. And it's just keeping my brain with it a little bit, because it's an easy pattern, but because it's so easy, I have that problem more often. When I do easy patterns, it's easier for me to make mistakes, because my brain can drift off, and then I will make the mistakes. Whereas I have a complicated pattern, I know I have to stay focused, and then I don't make the mistakes. So I need to force myself to focus a little bit more when I'm working on this, because otherwise I will miss the increases on the side or stuff like that. So very fun and easy to work on, but I really need to focus a little bit more when I'm working on it. So that's the thing I've been working on. I did work on my sweater. What's lying here? Oh, the very last issue of Pompom. It's so fun. I really like this one. Let me see. Just a side note. It was laying on my knitwear. Oh, now I can't find it. It's a very simple, easy cardigan without buttons, and I was really like, oh, I would like that. But I can't find it now, of course. Always when I want to show things. This one I also like. Let me see. Why couldn't I find it? Okay. Let me see if I can show it without, oh no, yeah, without spoiling too much. It's just a easy stripe in there, but let me see if you can see this without like spoiling the pattern. It's so cute. It's a little bit shorter. There are no buttons in it. I think it's designed a little bit more open so it doesn't close up completely. I really like it. And what also is very intriguing in this issue is this one. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, look, here are more pictures of the cardigan I meant. It's so easy to wear, I think. And the other thing is this one. I think it's not the most easy thing to make. It's crocheted. It's woven strips of fabric. And I read through the pattern a little bit. I think it's worked in one go. Like, you don't have to actually make all the strips separate and weave them together. They're all connected somehow. But I think it will be very, very fun to wear this in the summer. But also, I don't know if I want to make it. But it looks very fun. So maybe I will. But that's just distraction. I was going to show you the sweater I've been working on. I made two sleeves. Oh, once I'm holding it like that. I blocked one of them. And oh no, they're like, is one longer than the other? Slightly. Because I had difficulty with choosing my size. I was spot on with the gauge before blocking. Now I know I should have made a swatch and blocked the swatch and measure my gauge and determine the size I want to knit out of that swatch. That's how you should do it. I'm lazy. I don't make swatches most of the times. Sometimes I do, but not always. So I just started the sleeve and I was thinking, well, which size shall I go for? I'm spot on in gauge, but most of the times when your knitting relaxes after steam blocking or washing it, it will grow a little bit. So I will make one size smaller than I need to not get it too much oversized. And I also have a little bit of a yarn struggle because I only have 4 skeins of each color, so I can't make every size. I have to choose a size that will be okay for the meterage I have. So I was thinking, well, it will grow a bit, so I will make the size smaller. The pattern starts with the sleeve, so that's fine. I can always put a smaller sized sleeve on a bigger sized sweater. Although these beautiful sleeves have like this sloped sides, so it's a little bit of a fitted, like a fit-in sleeve, which is beautiful, but I'm not sure if I can put the sleeves on the bigger sized body. I think there will be a little bit of a problem with the connection of the pattern under the yarn stand. So that's one of the things, but then I blocked it and I measured my gauge, and I have been measuring my gauge like 20 times now. Every time I have it in front of me, I measure my gauge, and it did not really change. It's yeah, it really did not change. I'm still spot on, which is perfectly fine. The only thing is that the size I am knitting might be a little bit too tight. It will be tighter than the version in the they used on the model, because they used 15 centimeters of positive ease, I think, and I wasn't gonna do that either way, so it will be tighter fitting than this one already. But I think I may get negative ease now in this sweater if I continue working on this size. And how will I say this? I might do that. The only thing is that I have this picture in my mind when I'm working on it, and it's oversized. I already knew it would be less oversized, and it will look completely different when you make it with a little bit of negative ease. Like, I won't make it too small that it's completely body fitting. Only with my busts it will be a little bit more snug there. And then over my waist I do have enough room, and we will have to see how long I will make it and if it will be okay with my hips and stuff like that. But I was thinking that maybe I will just go for a little bit more of a fitted sweater, or I have to read through the pattern and think about putting the smaller sized sleeves on the bigger sized body. But then I will really have to see how they attach this, because I looked at the pattern again, and it's really nice how the pattern connects at the sleeves as well. So maybe I don't have a choice and I just have to knit the smaller size, and we'll just have a little bit more of a fitted sweater, which is fine, which can be very nice. I really like the sweatshirt, the way sweatshirts, not sweatshirts, like the long sleeved cotton base things that really are snug on your body. I really like wearing those as well, so maybe it will be just perfect. we don't know. Worst case scenario, I will have to start over completely once the sweater is finished. I don't want to think about that. But or somebody else will fit in. That's also always an option. But I think it will be okay, especially because it's just a few centimeters I miss, and you can say a few centimeters can be a lot. Like if I, for example, miss like 6 centimeters, that's this much. But once you distribute that over the complete circumference of the sweater, it's only a few millimeters in each cable that it needs to stretch. And I think that's fine, because that's a good thing. It's very stretchy, this fabric, right? So I will get in. The only thing is it looking okay? But I think it will, and maybe not. We will see. I'm just gonna try it, right? I really love the pattern. I love knitting it more than I thought I would. There are cables every other row. So every right side row you're making cables. But it's 2x2 cable, and I'm in a rhythm that I don't need a cable needle. I can just switch the stitches around on my needle, and it's going quite fast. So I'm very happy with that. And either way, it will be a very cozy, warm, soft sweater. So it will be fine anyway, right? It will be fine. The only thing is that I'm still not sure if this color will suit me. But we will see that as well. I always find it very hard to choose colors that match my skin the best. My best friend, she always looks perfect in royal blue. Like she was wearing a royal blue dress on her wedding day, and she was wearing the same color shirt last week, and she's always looking just perfect in that color. I don't know why. It just suits her. I haven't found that color for myself yet. One day we will find it. I'm not sure that it is this pink, but we will see. I do have one last, I have 3 more things to show you. My goodness. It will be a longer video this time. I'm working on a new design, partly because the shawl design is a little bit, I'm still thinking about that, and this has a little bit more shape in my head, so I just started it. I don't know why, sometimes I just do that. It will be a cowl, that's a very difficult word for me to say. It will be doubled, so it will be like folded over, but very high. And then there will be a panel on the front with some cables and stuff. I'm not sure about the back, but the idea is that if you put it under a jacket, like not a jacket for, you can do it on a jacket for outside, but more like a jacket you wear inside. I don't know the right name for it, but yeah, like a little bit more formal with the button and stuff like that. But you can put it underneath, but you're not have to deal with the bulk of a thick sweater under the quite fitted arms sleeves you have on those jackets most of the time. So it looks like you're wearing a sweater underneath, but you really aren't. And that's the idea. If it's gonna work, I don't know, but I'm gonna try it. My biggest concern is that I think I have to make something of a little cord that keeps it in your waist so that it doesn't wiggle around when you're wearing it. I think that's one of the biggest issues, that it will stay on your body, but we will find a way to work around that. This yarn is one of the softest things I have ever worked with. It's let me see, this one doesn't have a label anymore, so I need to take another skein. It's by Isager. It's EcoSoft, called EcoSoft. They do have a few different colors, not a lot I think, but they do have, I do know they have also a darker version, and it's alpaca and cotton, but I'm not sure, but it's like, I don't know if I can show that, but it's like a tube that is like knitted in the round, so like an I-cord kind of structure, and the alpaca is just, it looks like it's blown in there. I know there are like the Drops Air, and there is another American brand that also, is it called Loft? I don't know, I'm not sure. But I know there are yarns that are like those tubes and that there's fiber blown in, and this looks like it's done the same way, and it makes that the alpaca is just like fluff held together in this tube, and it's sticking out, and it's extremely soft. So either way, this will be very nice to wear. It's knitting up nicely. There is quite some meterage on this, more than because it's looking so fluffy and thick. I'm surprised with how far I can get with one skein. There's 125 meters on 50 grams, so it's like a decay-ish. Yeah, it's decay. 250 for 100 grams, you know, decay weight, and it's very light and fluffy and just heavenly. Very nice. I think it would be very nice, maybe not this pattern, but when you have a pattern that has a mohair and a fingering weight together, I think you can substitute it for this yarn. I think you can knit it to the same gauge. It gives a little bit more fluff than the mohair does, but I think it would look very nice as well. Very nice yarn. Okay, 2 things to go. Let me see. I am working on a project out of this book. It's called Gehaakte wilde dieren. It's translated to Crocheted Wild Animals. It's by Vanessa Munchi. It's on the bottom there. I don't know if it's also in other languages available. But let me see if I can show you a picture of all the, not all of them, but a few. Like, I really like the cuteness of the animals she designed. I think it's always very hard with knitting and crocheting animals that they look sweet and not, I think it's very easy to make them look a little bit dumb or crazy, or that has to do with the placement of the eyes and the finishing of the projects, and I think she does a very nice job. It's as you can see, this book has been used a lot. There are wrinkles in the cover. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's very used. I made toys for my kids out of this book for gifts already a few times, and I do have the chameleon made out of leftovers, but I have 2 children and they both want one, so I promised my youngest kid that I will make him one, although I remember that it's quite a it's not difficult, but it's a lot of parts, and it's not yeah, I don't think it's the nicest pattern out of the book, but they really like it, and that's because you can flip it inside out to get a different color, and that's what they enjoy doing, of course, flipping it inside out every time, and I do understand that's fun. So I asked which colors do you want, and it was green and blue. So the blue version is kind of done. This is only the belly and the back. This will be attached on the sides like that. I need to make the eyes, and I need to make the arms and legs. Do you say arms? No, I think a chameleon only has legs. 4 legs. So I need to make those, and I am working on the second one. The belly is already done, and it will be attached by the back once I'm at the tail. The 2 parts are connected. So this is the top part, this is the head, and I'm working on the back, and then I will have 2 of these shapes, and those will be attached so that you can put one in there and then you can flip it around, and that's quite a thing to do. I'm using all kinds of I'm using cottons. I'm having here yarn and colors, must have. I had some by Claire in there as well. I just took out all of my cottons, and yeah, I'm striping them randomly because I did not have enough to make it in one color. I do like the idea that a chameleon has several colors, and I just hope that I can finish it with the yarn I have left. Let me see how much I have left. It's not a lot. It's yeah, the blue. I only have like this much blue left over. I do blend in the mint green and the teal in both the green and the blue, so I hope I have enough. And for the green I also use yellow because otherwise I wouldn't have enough. But I hope I will be able to finish it with the yarn I have, and otherwise I have to maybe get 1 green and 1 blue ball of yarn for the legs. So the legs are on the same color. Maybe that's nice, but we will see. For now it's something I work on sometimes because crochet hurts my wrists a bit, and I don't want to overdo it. So just a few rows at a time, and it will get finished one day. But yeah, that takes quite some time. Those are all the yarny things I want to show you, and there's one other thing I want to show you just because I'm quite proud of it. And yeah, there was crafty time going to this as well, and I made a drawing of a more, I did looked up the translation. Waterhoentje, it's in Dutch, and I did look up the translation in English. Moorhen, they say. Those are the birds that they can swim and they walk beside the water side and stuff like that. I did use a reference photo, but it's not like an exact copy. It's just to look at the colors and where's the light coming from and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. And if you're curious, I only used pencils. I used my Faber-Castell Polychromos set and a little bit of alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and a little brush with very soft hairs. And what I do use the alcohol for is to blend out the colors a bit. So yeah, that's just what it is. It's and it's quite a textured paper, and it's very hard to get in all the grooves without putting your point of your pencil in the paper, like really getting in there. Then you can fill those gaps, but I didn't want to do that directly because it's also harder to put layers on top. So I used the alcohol to like dissolve the colors a bit, and you can, it's looking more like a painting when you do it like that, and I very much like it. It's the first time I tried this technique. I did look at a lot of, I really like looking at craft videos, so I like people that sew, I like people that are drawing, I like people that are making other stuff. Wood carving I think is very interesting to look at, and just by looking at a lot of videos about drawing, I saw people do this, and it was like, just give it a try. I did draw a lot when I was a child, but more like doodling and stuff. And I think I will continue drawing like this because it's very fun. And I think maybe the next one will be maybe a penguin or something. I think another bird, because I'm now at I know now how I want to make the feathers, and I think it's a good thing to stay with feathers for a little while. So maybe a penguin, or maybe a parrot. That would also be very nice. Or how do you call those very fast little birds? Hummingbirds. They can stay in the air like they're standing still with their, because they can move their wings so fast. That's also fun. I'm not sure yet, but I think there will be more drawing. If you're interested, I may do film some of the drawing I do. The problem with that is, to get a result like this, I need to do it in very small pieces, stretch over a long time. So I had this on my desk, and once a while I just put 15 minutes in, and then I do something else, and then I do 15 minutes again another day, because I have the tendency to rush those things, and once you start rushing it, you will mess it up. So you really have to take your time for it. And the problem with filming things like this is that it's annoying when your work is drifting around. So I would have to position my camera on my desk, and the drawing has to stay on the same spot for quite a long time, and I use my desk for more than only drawing. So I think that might be a problem, and maybe I can show some snippets of drawing if you like that. If not, it's totally fine. I'm here for the knitting, and that will always be my main craft, but I thought it would be nice to show you some other things I do sometimes as well. I think I've been talking way too long. I'm gonna wrap this up, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!